here in Amsterdam. It's a wonderful pleasure to be here. I know that some of you speak Polish, like you do, guilty as charged. But nie wiem, ile z Państwa mówi po polsku, ale mimo wszystko będę mówił po angielsku. So I'll speak in the international language of English, and hopefully you will all understand that. To begin with, because I understand maybe you know, some of you are not really familiar with what is Poland, and it's a remote country in the east of Europe, and it had a very complicated history, and I will just briefly give you the background, because I think it's important to understand what is going on in Poland, why we believe it's an anti-Semitic country, which in fact it is, in many ways. As Holland, you said. Okay. Well, Holland and Poland is just one letter, you know, P-H. Whenever I went to England, they always asked me, I said, I'm from Poland, and they said, oh, you're from Holland. That's wonderful. Anyway, the whole of 19th century, Poland was not there on the map. Okay, this country did not exist, and it regained its independence in 1918, to lose it again in 1939. So it was only a brief period of time when Poland was actually an independent country in the past 200 years. Before 1939, you know, Poland was about 30 million people, and 1/10 of that population was Jewish. It's a tremendous amount of people. And before the war, Poland was not really Polish so much. It was Jewish, it was Protestant, it was Catholic, it was Tatar, it was Muslim, it was Russian, it was Ukrainian. There was it was a mixture of all kinds of different cultures, and attitudes, and religions. So it was not like it was the only nation, one party, and one church, which it became after 1945.
Towarzysze, obywatele, ludu pracujący stolicy, witam Was w imieniu Komitetu Centralnego Polskiej Zjednoczonej Partii Robotniczej.
1939 is a break of war, and it's important to say that because it's different in every country. For example, in Russia, the beginning of war is 1941. 1941 is the moment, which is a crucial moment for me in Polish history, is where the anti-Semitic, the racist actions in Poland started to grow, when ghettos were established, when, and I will come back to that later, when in the city of Jedwabne, the Polish citizens of this city have killed the Jewish citizens of that city. That was 1941. And then 1943 is the Warsaw Rising of the ghetto, of the Warsaw Ghetto, which I had no idea about, okay, as an old person, and I will talk about that soon. 1944 is the Warsaw Rising, which is the Polish citizens of Warsaw trying to fight against German occupation. 1945 is the so-called independence of Poland, which in reality was establishing of the Russian regime or a communist regime. And then come the first pogroms. Pogrom is a name in Polish for a riot, a street riot against Jews. So there was a Krakow pogrom in 1946. 1948 was the pogrom in Kielce. And throughout 40s and beginning of 50s, there was the so-called train pogrom, where Jews were caught on trains and moved out of it and killed basically on the side roads. And then comes 1968, which is a huge racist riot in Poland. And it's against the students, against the elite. And a lot of Jews are forced to move away from the country. And then finally we get to 1989, which is the finally Poland regains independence from the communists. And then, year 2000, Jan Tomasz Gross publishes his book about Jedwabne. Now, this is like the very short look at the Polish history, just to give you a background. And now I'll give you a little bit of my background. I'll be changing some photos. This is my wife, by the way. She's sitting in the back of the room. I was born in 1969. This year is the first year in my life when I lived a little longer outside of the communist regime than I lived in the communist regime. I lived 20 years in the communist regime and I lived 21 years outside of it. 1969 was right after Poland was totally cleansed, let's say, of Jews. The final cleansing, using the Nazi, the fascist wording, the final cleansing came in 1968. So basically I was born in the country with no Jews whatsoever. No Jews. Now, not only the Jews were removed physically from the landscape as individuals or as communities, they were also removed from the memory, from the collective memory of Polish society. Poland, as I learned the history, had this romantic, imaginative idea, concept of what it is to be Polish, and it means to fight for freedom. It means to be brave in war. It means to be losing a lot of battles and losing a lot of people and blood in good cause, and always be on the bright side, always be on the good side, never be evil. Okay, this is the romantic idea of Poland. Now the other idea is that Poland is there to bring the messianistic, clean, revival to Europe. This is something that we are taught in school. And finally, we are the children of Jesus Christ. We are the Catholic country. And this is something that we are taught in church. So I was raised in a Polish ethnic family. I was raised in Polish school. I was raised in Polish language, Polish literature, Polish church, Polish culture, TV, film, and in nowhere in those places I was told that Poland actually had a huge Jewish community. I had no idea whatsoever. To give you an example, in 1986, I was already 17 years old, and I went for a road trip to Auschwitz, which you all know what it is. And I was told in this camp, when I was visiting it, I was told that this camp was set to kill Poles, and that 5 million Poles were killed in Auschwitz. Nobody mentioned Jews. It's outrageous right now. We cannot really believe that, but that's a fact. That's how I was raised. Okay. Now, not only the figure was wrong, because it was not 5 million people, but it was totally wrong to not tell me that actually there was a Jewish stigma on the people who died there. So they died there. It was important that they were Jewish. And I was not aware of that.